Mom and stepdad made my childhood hell, and my fiance wants them at our wedding anyway. I appreciate if you give me your honest opinion, as I'm being pressured from everyone except my aunt to go against my wish. I'm a 30-year-old woman. I have been with my fiancée, Sarah, for the last 5 years. We are the same age and met at grad school. When I was 13 years old, my loving dad passed away. He left a decent amount of money for us. My mom, within 6 months, got engaged to a guy named Bob. Bob had a daughter around my age. My mom married Bob within a year of my dad's passing. Bob really hated me from the start and didn't even try to hide it. He would say things like how my mom should have sent me to a boarding school, how if it wasn't for my dad's inheritance, he wouldn't have me in his house, or call me a bull dyke because I was on our school sports team and very athletic. He multiple times told my mom he doesn't feel safe when his daughter is around me. I wasn't even out yet. He used this as a reason to exclude me from pretty much everything. My mom, on the other hand, was going above and beyond to prove to Bob that she is the new mom for Bob's little princess. They ended up having 3 more kids. Basically, I was a roommate who did babysitting for my mom and her new family. I never had a birthday party or a special day. My dad's sister was amazing to me. I was at their place all the time. She and her family had birthday celebrations for me, and my mom was making excuses not to show up. Of course, the rest of them never showed up. I was really my aunt and uncle's daughter. They were amazing to me. When I left for university, I contacted my mom a few times, but she was always busy, so I just gave up. Here is the issue. Sarah, my fiancée, comes from a very family-oriented background. Family is everything to her. Her family asked me about mine, and I said my dad passed away, and my mom is busy with her family and lives across the country. She lives 1 hour's drive from us, but this is what Sarah told them, so I just didn't correct them. I didn't entirely lie, technically. Sarah asked me to invite my family to our wedding. I told her no. She said it's very embarrassing having only my aunt and her family on my side. I reluctantly invited my mom. She called and asked me to apologize to Bob and my step and half-siblings for not inviting them and to invite them all. I told her no. She said I'm being ungrateful and that Bob was a father figure to me. I had a big argument with my mom over this. My mom now says the only way she comes is if I invite Bob, his daughter, and their kids. Sarah is now pushing me to invite them all because she doesn't want to feel embarrassed in front of her family. These people never even gave me a card or said happy birthday to me, so I see no reason to celebrate my big day with them. On the other hand, I don't want to let my fiancé down. I just don't know what to do. Should I swallow my ego and invite my family so my fiancé will be happy? I suggested eloping, but Sarah is a firm no on that. Am I the a-hole for ruining my fiancé's day by not fulfilling her wish? Oh, your fiancé is a huge walking red flag. No, you are not the a-hole. What is this about your fiancé's day? It's your day too, and the fact that she cares more about optics than about your feelings says a lot about the type of person she is. Now let's move on to your crappy mom. What's this I hear about you having to apologize to Bob? What the hell is that about? Your mom is delusional. Did she step on a Lego and while hopping about, bang her head on a cabinet or something? OP, from what you told us, the only person in this whole story that apparently loves you is your aunt. If I were in your shoes, I would seriously reconsider marrying this Sarah person because she doesn't seem to care about you at all. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section. Community comments. Open Incident 361 says, not the a-hole, but Sarah isn't ready to be married. She's already told you that keeping up appearances to her family matters more than your comfort. These are the partners that go behind your back and arrange a surprise ambush of your family that you will hate, and then you'll be blamed because, sure, she was just trying to be helpful. Don't marry her. Gray Blue Girl says, Sarah is not your friend, never mind someone who loves you. She's not much different than your mother. She's willing to shove you aside so she can make her family happy. Please postpone the wedding and see a therapist. Sarah is another abuser, not the a-hole. Conscious Nectarine 9 says, not the a-hole, but your fiancée is. She wants to put you through the ringer just to keep her family happy. I'm sorry, but that is a major red flag waving in front of your face. If she is pushing you on this just to keep her family happy, what else down the line is she going to push you on? She is supposed to be supporting you, not causing you distress. Part 2, 1959 says, information request. Did you ever actually explain to Sarah the real reason you are distant from your family? OP responds, yes, Sarah knows all the details. She also knows about my close relationship with my aunt and uncle because of my mom and Bob's behavior. Her family doesn't know since Sarah said it's best if they don't know the drama in my life. I respected her decision. Dalbod Welcome 7940 says, plan a dinner and do something I rarely advise. It's time to ambush your fiancé. Sit with her family for a nice meal. During it, explain it like this. I absolutely love how family-oriented and supportive you all are. That said, I feel like there is something I have to explain. My mom remarried after my dad passed and chose a man who hated me. He is homophobic, and my mom took his side for everything. So at the wedding and in the future, they won't really be involved. It sucks, but those are the cards I was dealt. What it taught me is that family is a choice, not a commitment. I did, however, get extremely lucky. I have an aunt and uncle who basically saw what happened and more or less made me their own. So when I introduce you, please know it's complicated, but in the end, they are my real family. I hope you can all accept and support that. Not the a-hole. So the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole show, and they're also asking her to think about her future while other people are giving her suggestions on how to deal with this. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Update. Thank you for the comments and DMs. They really gave me perspective on my life. I sat Sarah down last night and explained my reasoning for not inviting my family. She kept saying that it was a long time ago. They might not be the same people anymore. I felt offended and said, how on earth are you lecturing me when you've never even met them? Well, it turned out my mother has been in touch with Sarah. Sarah said they regularly meet for coffee dates and talk. I was about to cry because I was so angry. My mom changed the whole narrative, saying Bob was a father figure, a good protective dad, and that it was me who didn't love him back because apparently it's my thing to play the victim. She claimed my aunt manipulated me and stole me from their family, trying to be a replacement for my mom. According to her, it's all about my mother. I screamed, are you for real? Ask her next time on your coffee dates why I never had a birthday party growing up. Why was there never a gift under the tree for me? Ask Bob if he even knows when my birthday is since he was such a loving dad. Why did my aunt have to pick me up before Christmas Eve? Because Bob wanted to spend the holiday with his kids, not with another man's mistake. Sarah basically repeated what my mom has told me my whole life. You just love to make a big deal out of everything, make yourself the victim, and push everyone away. I told her she had no right to contact my mom. She said I was cruel and claimed she was just trying to help me mend my broken relationship. She even called my mom lovely and said Bob has changed a lot. He's an LGBTQ ally now that his princess is out. I was floored. An ally? Maybe he should start by apologizing to me for terrorizing my entire childhood. I told Sarah we are done. I can't do this. Sarah sarcastically said, you just proved your mom's point. Go run to your aunt. Let that old witch run your life. I told her she needs to find a new place as soon as possible, considering she's not paying rent. I am. Sarah is between jobs. That's why I stopped charging her rent. She got mad and asked what excuse I was going to make up this time to justify my BS drama. I stopped replying. She went on a tirade, breaking our dinner plates. I didn't care. I texted my aunt, and she asked if I wanted to spend the night at her place. I said I was fine. I'm taking time off from work. I cleaned up the kitchen, which was full of broken dishware in the morning, because I didn't want my cats to accidentally get hurt. I'll ask my aunt to take them until Sarah is gone. Sarah is still sleeping. I'm going to see how I can legally evict her. I'm a complete piece, but I'll talk to my aunt and uncle for help. Yes, I am not starting to date again until I see a therapist and work on myself. I can't keep going through this. Well, good for you for standing up for yourself. Hopefully your aunt can help you find a way to get rid of Sarah quickly so you can put that whole BS relationship in the past. And about your mom, this just proves that no contact is the right way to go. So in the meantime, OP, here's wishing you the best in the future. Take care, and thanks for sharing. Next post. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole? And it's by user probably A-hole. Would I be the a-hole if I don't tell her that the chocolate contains sugar? Hello, my partner, female in her 30s, is quite into sports and not much into sweets. She stopped eating added sugar completely about a year ago. She doesn't have a medical condition, but just realized that she's doing way better without the sugar. She also doesn't restrict my eating. For example, when we went to a fancy cake place I wanted to go to, she also ate cake but was feeling a little nauseous afterward, so she's not completely strict. For example, sometimes she enjoys honey or if I bake something. Now to my dilemma, every weekend she makes coffee for us and does a special blend. When she made it before, she used cocoa powder but changed to dark chocolate shavings. It's really nice, but I realized some days ago that she doesn't know that there is sugar in them. She eats her yogurt, top it with a ham, and is beaming with joy when telling me they don't contain sugar. They do. She just had the wrong column when checking them. I really love seeing her happy. And I researched before, and the chocolate shavings without sugar are one, expensive, and two, I'm actually not able to eat them due to intolerance. I also really support her otherwise when cooking, baking, etc. I check twice not to include any sugar. I also realize, on the other hand, that she's mostly checking for glucose and doesn't care about fructose. So would I be the a-hole if I don't tell her that there's sugar in her newfound joy? Well, in my opinion, yeah, you would be the a-hole if you don't tell her. Just tell her the truth. I mean, maybe she didn't realize because it was a mistake, but tell her the truth so that she can make an informed decision by herself. Who knows, she may stop using them or she may continue to use them, but she will be in the know. Personally, I'm not a fan of keeping anything from my partner. Like, the only thing I would keep from my wife is if somebody's planning a surprise party for her. But if it's something that can directly influence her decision-making, then I do my best to give her all the information possible so that she can make the best decision. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section. Community comments. The Good Gene says, you would be the a-hole. A lie of omission is still a lie. She deserves to have all the information so she can make an informed decision on her own about what she puts into her body. Says No Here says, you read the label wrong. You're not lying to her. It's not hurting her. And you have no obligation to tell her. Just pretend you never checked. She will figure it out eventually. Oldest Kron says, not the a-hole. If a grown woman doesn't realize that a chocolate bar contains sugar, that is on her. It is her responsibility to read the labels of products. At some point, she may learn. When she asks why you didn't tell her, you can reply that she thought she had done her own research. Neither your problem nor your responsibility. Prestigious U4550 says, you would not be the a-hole. As long as she isn't eating them by the handful, the amount of sugar in a sprinkle is so minimal it's irrelevant. Let him be happy. Saidalva says, information. She's mostly checking for glucose and doesn't care about fructose. What does she think the difference is to your body? OP responds, I was avoidant of adding this, but thought people might want to know if she's eating fruit, etc., as it's not a medical case or relevance. I think that maybe there will be no good outcome of this discussion, and I trust in her decisions. I also talked to her about it, and she told me that she enjoys fruits and sweets, not so on, so I leave it up to her. Edit. Thanks, guys. I think I just needed a nudge to make the right decision. I'm at her place tomorrow and will talk to her. And to clarify, the yogurt used in the example she's eating has no added sugar. Yes, she knows that there are different types of sugar. As I mentioned before, it's about added glucose. Yes, she is capable of reading. No, she's not stupid, as the package has two different columns, as it's baking chocolate, and one type of them has no added sugar, but sweetener. Yes, I know that there are also health risks when consuming too much sweetener. It was a simple question, guys. Okay, well, the community is all over the place, but the top-rated comment was, you would be the a-hole, which apparently is what OP took. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Update. We talked yesterday, and I told her that the chocolate contains sugar. She looked at me a little confused and said, yes, I know, but I like it. What? So the misunderstanding came about like this. She bought herself chocolate shavings without added white sugar and told me about it. When she went shopping some weeks later, she saw her favorite ones, dark chocolate, and decided that it was not worth the extra effort for her to get the other ones. She also told me they don't have the same crunch, so she decided to just go with the regular ones. So thanks to those that gave me the extra nudge, she smiled and told me I should have told her directly. Have a great rest of the week. Well, OP, in my opinion, good for you. You told her, so now you don't feel like you're hiding anything from her. And even though she already knew, she's encouraging you to keep doing stuff like this and just tell her when you know something that she might not be aware of. So here's wishing you both the best in the future. Take care and thanks for sharing. Mood Booster Post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user Shiver and R. Is the cable live? Then let me finish it myself. This one is from my early days when I was working as a technician for an internet provider company, but it still brings a smile to my face when I remember it. I recently had a technician come to install my internet, and it all came back. I was working mostly in residential buildings, and my job at that time was pretty simple. Come to the basement, find our distribution box, patch the cable to the right endpoint for the requesting flat, go to the flat, fix the cable outlet when needed, verify the cable is live. There is a signal coming through, and it is the right signal. This is somewhat important. Connect the modem, verify good, tell the happy customer the internet is ready to use, and off I go. One day I was doing my job again, but got this know-it-all guy. I had to call him to let me into the building, and it was a blast right from the start. First, he told me he knew exactly where my company's distribution box was, only to lead me to the electricity provider box. Then he is absolutely sure his flat is numbered YY, while the papers state Y, and indeed it was YY. There were a few more helps from his side, which I skipped to avoid this becoming a book. But eventually we are up into the flat, and I'm going to check the signal. But the guy is like, come on, hurry up. I need my connection and need to work on super important stuff. I tell him I need to test the signal first, but here he opens up my malicious compliance window. He says, you do not need to do that, just connect the cable. If the cable is live, just go and I will finish it myself. I still give him a chance by explicitly stressing, the test will take some minutes only, but if it does not work, I will not be able to come earlier than in a couple of days. No, absolutely not. He can finish it by himself. Okay, my man, you've got it. Already too long a story to make it short, the cable was live, but the signal was from a local TV antenna, not from our cable internet. This was actually a relatively common issue at the time. Older residential buildings reused wiring, and cable patching to a wrong one was not so hard to fix once you knew what was wrong. I only imagine how the guy tried to make it work before calling our call center to schedule my visit again. What I know is I came to the flat 3 days later, only to be greeted by his lovely wife, who made me some tea and thanked me for being kind and fixing the problem. To come to a closure, when a technician came to install my internet a few days ago, I made him some tea and told him to take his time and do all that's needed. We had a little chat, and guess what? The process and issues are still the same. And recently he was telling his junior colleague why checking if the cable is live is not enough.